Imagine this. You're sitting in your cozy living room, the one you've built with love and laughter over the years. The sun is setting outside, casting a warm glow through the windows. But inside, your world is about to shatter into a million pieces. That's exactly what happened to me on that fateful evening. My name is Sarah, and this is the story of how my best friend, Emily, betrayed me in the worst way possible, with my own husband, and how I turned the tables on her and exposed a secret that changed everything forever. It all started so innocently. Emily and I had been friends since we were little kids running around the same small town. We shared secrets under the stars, cried together when life got hard, and promised we would always have each other's backs. She was the sister I never had. When I met Mark in college, Emily was the very first person I told. She screamed with excitement, helped me pick my wedding dress, and stood right beside me as my maid of honor on the happiest day of my life. Mark and I built what I thought was the perfect little world. A beautiful home, 2 incredible kids, careers we loved, and date nights that still made us laugh like teenagers. But lately, something felt off. Mark started staying at work later and later. Client dinners, he'd say with a quick kiss on the cheek, emergency meetings that ran long. At first, I told myself it was nothing. Every marriage has rough patches, right? But then the tiny signs started piling up. A strange perfume on his collar that definitely wasn't mine. Phone calls he took out in the garage with the door closed. The way his eyes drifted away when I asked how his day really was. One night, after the kids were finally asleep, I couldn't shake the sick feeling in my stomach. Mark was in the shower and his phone was just sitting there on the nightstand, glowing. My heart was pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. I picked it up, scrolled through his messages, and there it was. Texts from Emily. Not the normal hey girl kind of texts we always send each other. No. These were words that made the whole room spin. Can't wait to feel your hands on me tonight. You make me feel alive in ways she never could. And Mark's replies. God, his replies broke me all over again. I sat there in the dark, tears rolling down my face, the phone shaking in my hands. My best friend, my husband, together, behind my back. The betrayal hit me like a wave, pulling me under until I couldn't breathe. But here's the thing. I didn't scream. I didn't throw his phone against the wall. I just sat there, quietly crying. And something inside me shifted. I wasn't going to let them destroy me. Not without making sure they felt even a fraction of this pain. As I wiped my tears that night, an old memory floated up. Years ago, back in college, Emily had confessed something to me in a panicked whisper one night. She was failing her classes, terrified of losing her scholarship. So she did something desperate. She paid someone to take her final exams for her. She even forged documents to cover it up. It wasn't just cheating, it was fraud. If anyone ever found out, her teaching career would be over in an instant. She begged me to keep her secret. You're the only person I trust, Sarah. Promise me you'll never tell. And I promised. I kept that secret for almost 15 years. But now that promise felt like chains wrapped around my heart, and I was ready to break free. The next few days were pure torture. I smiled at Mark every morning, kissed him goodbye like everything was fine, made his coffee exactly the way he liked it. With Emily, it was harder. We met for our usual coffee catch-up, and she sat across from me laughing about her weekend while I just kept thinking, how can you look me in the eyes? How can you pretend nothing's wrong? But I played along. I laughed at the right times. I asked about her day. All while I was quietly taking screenshots, saving receipts, following Mark one night to a hotel parking lot, and watching them walk inside hand in hand. The sight made me want to throw up, but it also lit a fire inside me that refused to go out. Questions spun through my head nonstop. How long had this been going on? Was our entire friendship a lie? What about my kids? How was I supposed to protect them from this kind of ugliness? I couldn't just let these 2 people rip my family apart and walk away smiling. So I started planning. Not some wild, messy confrontation, no. I was going to be smart. I was going to expose not just their affair, but the one secret Emily thought was buried forever. Let me take you back a little further, so you understand just how deep this betrayal really cut. Emily and I met on the playground in 3rd grade. I was the quiet kid with thick glasses who always had her nose in a book. Some older kids were picking on me, and out of nowhere, Emily marched over and told them exactly where they could go. From that day on, we were glued together. Sleepovers, secrets, first heartbreaks, We went through everything side by side. When my parents got divorced, Emily was the one holding my hand. When her dad lost his job and her family almost lost their house, she lived with us for 2 whole months. My mom called her the daughter she never had. College only brought us closer. We were roommates, stayed up all night cramming for exams, celebrated every tiny victory together. That's when her secret happened. She came to me crying one night, terrified she was going to flunk out. "I did something stupid, Sarah," she whispered. "I paid someone to take my finals. I forged the paperwork. If anyone finds out, it's over for me." I hugged her and promised the world would never know. We graduated, life moved on, and I truly believe that mistake was behind her. Then I met Mark. Tall, funny, the kind of guy who made everyone in the room feel lighter. Emily helped me get ready for our first date, squealed when he asked me to be his girlfriend, cried happy tears at our wedding. Her maid of honor speech had the whole room in tears. "Sarah deserves the absolute world," she said, looking right at Mark, "and you better give it to her." I never noticed the tiny flicker of something darker in her eyes that day. Maybe I didn't want to. We had Alex first, then Lily 2 years later. Emily became their favorite auntie, the one who always showed up with too many presents and the best bedtime stories. She said she was waiting for the right guy, but sometimes I'd catch her watching Mark play with the kids, this quiet look on her face I couldn't place. I thought it was just longing for a family of her own. Turns out it was jealousy eating her alive. Now, knowing what I know, every single one of those memories feels poisoned. Every hug, every inside joke, every "I love you" between best friends, it all feels like a lie. The pain of betrayal isn't just about what they did in secret. It's about realizing the entire history you thought you shared might have been fake all along. The weeks after I found those texts were like living in a nightmare I couldn't wake up from. I'd wake up with my stomach in knots, force myself to act normal while Mark got ready for work where I now knew he was sneaking off to be with her. The kids would ask why mommy seemed sad, and I'd have to swallow the tears and tell them everything was okay. I started keeping a little notebook hidden in my desk drawer. Screenshots, dates, locations, every scrap of proof I could gather. I even hired a private investigator for a few weeks because I needed pictures I could never unsee, but knew I would need one day. I finally told my sister Lisa everything over the phone one night when the kids were asleep. When I whispered that it was Emily, she actually dropped the phone. "You're Emily? The one who's basically family? Sarah, that's evil." Lisa wanted me to march over there and drag them both into the street, but I told her no. Confronting them right then would feel good for 5 minutes, and then they'd just deny everything and turn it around on me. I needed something unbreakable, something that would make them feel the same helpless rage I was drowning in. That's when Emily's old secret started looking less like ancient history and more like the perfect weapon. I still had the panicked emails she'd sent me back in college, begging me to delete them after she confessed. I never did. They were sitting right there in an old folder, time-stamped and undeniable. One anonymous tip to the right people, and her entire career, everything she'd built, would collapse. I invited them both over for dinner one Friday night. Told Mark I wanted to celebrate Emily's new promotion at school. Told Emily it would be just like old times. They had no idea what was coming. The kids were at my mom's for the weekend. I cooked Mark's favorite steak, opened the good wine Emily always liked, and smiled the whole night like my heart wasn't already in pieces. Halfway through dinner, I set my fork down and looked at them both. The room went so quiet you could hear the clock ticking on the wall. I pulled out the folder I'd hidden under my chair and started laying photographs on the table, one by one. Mark's face went white. Emily dropped her wine glass. It shattered on the hardwood floor. For a long moment, nobody spoke. Then Mark tried the classic line. "Sarah, it's not what it looks like." I laughed, but there was no humor in it. "Really? Because it looks like my husband and my best friend have been lying to my face for months." Emily started crying immediately, reaching for my hand across the table. I pulled away like she'd burned me. "We never meant for this to happen," she sobbed. "It just did. You never meant for it to happen?" My voice was shaking with fury. "You've been in my house, holding my children, eating at my table, and the whole time you've been sleeping with my husband. Don't you dare tell me you didn't mean it." Mark just sat there with his head in his hands. Emily kept begging. "Please, Sarah, forgive us. We'll end it right now. It was a mistake." A mistake. 20 years of friendship, 12 years of marriage, 2 little kids who adored them both, and it was just a mistake. I told Mark to pack a bag and get out. Told Emily never to step foot in my house again. They left together that night, him with a duffel bag over his shoulder, her sobbing into his shirt. I locked the door behind them, slid down to the floor, and cried until there was nothing left inside me. The calls and texts started immediately. Mark begging to come home. Emily leaving 10-minute voicemails about how sorry she was and how we could all work through this. I ignored every single one. I filed for divorce the next week, and then I turned my full attention to the one thing that would hurt Emily the way she had hurt me. I sent her a letter first, no return address, typed so she couldn't recognize my handwriting. Inside was a single sentence. Your past is catching up. The exams, the lies, it's time to pay. She called me in a total panic that same day. Sarah, did you get a weird letter? Someone knows about college. I played dumb. What are you talking about, Em? She started crying again, begging me to help her figure out who was threatening her. I told her I hoped she stayed safe and hung up. Watching her unravel from a distance was the first time in months I felt anything close to peace. She stopped sleeping, started jumping every time her phone buzzed, posted vague, paranoid things online about enemies and people trying to destroy her life. Our mutual friends had no idea what was going on, but they could see she was falling apart. Meanwhile, I was building the perfect case. I dug up old college classmates who remembered the rumors, found the guy she paid. Turns out he still had records because he'd been caught for the same thing years later. I compiled everything. The original emails, witness statements, even a timeline showing how her affair proved she hadn't changed at all. Then I set up an anonymous email account and drafted the letter that would end her teaching career for good. I waited until the timing was perfect. One quiet Tuesday morning, kids at school, house completely silent, I sat at my kitchen table with a cup of coffee and stared at the send button. My finger hovered there for a long time. This wasn't just revenge anymore. This was life-altering. Once I pressed send, there was no taking it back. But then I thought about Emily laughing at my kitchen table while she was stealing my husband, and I pressed it. The fallout was faster than I expected. The school board called her in that same afternoon. By the next day, she was on unpaid leave pending investigation. Parents started pulling their kids from her classes. Local Facebook groups lit up with whispers about the teacher scandal. Emily called me screaming, hysterical. You did this. You ruined my life. I stayed calm. You ruined your own life, Emily. The moment you decided my family was something you could take. Mark found out what I'd done and actually tried to take her side at first. Sarah, this is too far. I looked him dead in the eye and asked if destroying our marriage had been too far. He went quiet after that, moved out of the hotel and into his own apartment, started showing up for the kids on his weekends without excuses. Emily resigned before they could officially fire her, packed up her apartment and left town within a month. Last I heard, she was working some low-level office job 3 states away, no longer allowed anywhere near a classroom. Some people might say I went too far, but every time I look at my kids laughing without that shadow hanging over them, I know I did what I had to do. The divorce was final 6 months later. Mark and I figured out custody without too many fights. He's a good dad when he tries, and the kids deserve that. I kept the house, started my own graphic design business that actually took off, and slowly, day by day, the pain started to fade. I dated again eventually. Met a man named Tom who makes me laugh until my sides hurt and has never once given me a reason to doubt him. We got married on a quiet beach with just the kids and a handful of people who actually deserved to be there. No maid of honor this time. I don't need one. Sometimes I still think about Emily. Part of me wonders if she's sorry, if she's learned anything. I heard through a mutual friend that she's in therapy now, trying to figure out why she spent her whole life wanting what other people had instead of building something of her own. I hope she finds peace one day. I really do. But that doesn't mean I have to let her anywhere near mine. So here's what I learned. The hard truth, this whole nightmare carved into my bones. Betrayal from the people closest to you will try to break you. It will make you question every good memory you ever had. But you get to decide what happens next. You can crumble, or you can rise up, protect what's yours, and make sure the people who hurt you never get the chance to do it again. Trust is fragile, but the human spirit, That's unbreakable when it decides to be. If you're listening to this and you're hurting right now, if someone you loved has stabbed you in the back, just know you're stronger than they ever counted on. The truth always finds its way out. And sometimes, we get to be the ones who open the door. Thank you for letting me share my story. Whatever you're going through, you're going to be okay. I promise.